Misha Wilson always had an entrepreneurial spirit. As a kid, Misha ran a smoothie stand on the beaches of Maui and sold avocados door to door. At the age of 15, he started building out simple websites for his friends' dad's network marketing team, getting paid $250 per site. It was his first introduction to the world of home-based online business and something he would eventually return to. As a youth, Misha was one of the best tennis players in his state and headed off to Houston, Texas to attend a tennis academy where he trained over 6 hours each day, 5 days a week. Things were looking great for Misha until his senior year of high school, when he began to experience serious physical symptoms, which were later finally diagnosed as adrenal fatigue, which devastated him for over 2 years and ended any chance of an athletic career. Since he had to stop playing tennis and training entirely to recover, Misha decided to venture back into the world of online marketing he had discovered years earlier. After a year of trial and error, nearly $10,000 wasted and countless hours spent surfing forums and training programs, Misha finally started to create results. He had his first $5,000 month just after turning 23 and scaled his business to 6 figures at the age of just 24. Today, Misha is one of the youngest top-earning online marketers and an expert in traffic and conversion strategies. He enjoys his life on the beautiful island of Maui, building his online business and coaching others on how to leverage the internet to achieve their financial goals. This week's online playmaker, Misha Wilson.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Episode 17 of the Online Playmakers sessions, and I'm really excited for our guest here today. He's coming to us all the way from the beautiful island of Maui. Misha Wilson, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Norbert. Thank you so much for having me on here, man. It's a pleasure.
Awesome. Real pleasure to have you on here as well, and really enjoyed the conversation we had last week, just kind of getting to know each other and you know, hearing some of the things that you're working on right now got me really excited for this interview, because there's a few things that you're doing in your business that I haven't seen a lot of marketers do. You're having a lot of success, and you're even coming out with a new course. We'll talk about all that a little bit later. So Misha, we're going to jump right in here. We're going to try to keep this to about 20 to 25 minutes. And I know there's a lot of stuff that we want to cover because I just want to pick your brain and get a lot of your wisdom and your experience. So take us back a little bit to when you got started in the online marketing industry. You've got a pretty interesting story, and I'd love for you just to kind of share how you got involved in the online marketing industry.
Yeah, so I actually first kind of came to realize that it existed back in high school when I had a buddy of mine's. His father was in network marketing, and he was trying to go online. And I ended up building out his little blog, like Who Is pages for all of his team members, right? I happened to be good with the technical side of using the little power editor, or not the power editor, but it was the little website builder, whatever it was back then in the day, and got pretty good at that. And he ended up paying me a couple $100 per little blog I built out. And that was kind of how I made some money to spend on the weekends when I was in high school. And I would never really looked at it as kind of the place I wanted to go with my career, because at that point I was really focused on tennis, and I was focused on getting a college scholarship and doing the whole, college journey, and just kind of was open to wherever that would take me. But right before I ended up going to college, I took a year off to train for tennis, and I ended up getting injured with actually a nervous system disorder where I was drinking too much caffeine. I was training 6-7 hours a day. And it was just kind of chronic overtraining to the point where my doctor actually had to tell me that I had to stop playing tennis altogether for at least a couple of years in order to recover. And then from there, I probably wasn't going to have any kind of college career or professional career, which was kind of my goal back then. So, when I was about 17 or 18, I was just kind of hit with this situation where everything I'd kind of worked for and put so much energy and effort into building was kind of taken away from me. And I was kind of left not knowing where to go. I lost a college scholarship. I had a Division I college scholarship lined up to UCSB. Lost that based on not being able to play. Was not bedridden, but more or less house ridden for about 2 years, just because I couldn't do anything that I liked doing. I was always on the tennis court. I was always working out. I was always really physical with my lifestyle, and I couldn't do any of that. And I just kind of didn't know what to do with my life. And I was in this kind of very chaotic space where I was not only dealing with an intense kind of physical just ailment that I was dealing with, but also emotionally, I was just kind of completely and totally thrown off because I didn't know where my life was going and I didn't really have direction. And I've always been the type of person that does well when I have something to focus on really intensely. But if I don't have anything going on in my life, you know, that's when the tough times come up, and that's when some kind of troublesome stuff can come up. So went through a really tough time there for a while, and just realized at a certain point that I didn't want to work in restaurants my entire life. I had gotten a job in a restaurant and realized that this wasn't the path that I wanted to take. And I remembered that online marketing, network marketing, just kind of the alternative way of making money. I remembered that from my past, being in that position where I built out those membership sites for my buddy's dad. And kind of started poking my nose around the internet, bought into Russell Brunson's .com Secrets X course, was taught to build a list with sold ads and, you know, sell affiliate offers, etc. And I got out there and I did that, and I wasted a ton of money, not because Russell taught anything bad in that course, but just because I didn't know what I was doing yet, right? Yeah. But I got into the game and I took a lot of action, and it definitely got me started, which is, I'm grateful for it, but I also lost a lot of money and went through that kind of tough period that I think every single marketer goes through. But yeah, ended up figuring a few things out and kind of broke through, and then built off all my little small successes and kept going from there. And yeah, I'm loving it. I can't complain. I have a great lifestyle. I get to live back on Maui. Actually, at the low of the low, when I lost all my money, I had to move off of Maui because I couldn't afford to live here. But
oh no,
I didn't want to go back and get, you know, a 9-to-5 job and kind of give up on my dream that had become my dream of internet marketing. And moved to New Mexico, Las Cruces, New Mexico, lived with a buddy of mine in New Mexico, kind of ground out the whole internet marketing, you know, tough period there. Broke through though, moved back to Maui, and get to live a pretty cool life now. So
that's an incredible story of perseverance and overcoming some serious challenges. I mean, I can only imagine how what a blow that is, you know, when you've got your life set, especially something, you know, like tennis, something you're passionate about, you know, you're an athlete, you're feeling great. And then all of a sudden you get hit with this, and it completely throws your life for a loop. And especially at that young age, I mean, that must've just been a really, really difficult time. So it's amazing to see, you know, how you were able to get out of it. And now here you are, you know, your life has changed course. You're on a different path, but you're still able to create the dream lifestyle and live the dream that you have. Now, my question for you is, I'm always really fascinated in the breakthrough moment that marketers have online, because most of us, we come into this industry and we struggle for quite a bit of time for lots of different reasons. But then something happens, we have a breakthrough. And sometimes it's a mental thing, sometimes it's an emotional thing, many times it's a specific action that we're actually taking. I want you to take us back to the breakthroughs, the big breakthroughs that you had. What was it that changed in you, or changed in what you were doing or how you were approaching your business?
Yeah. So I would say the biggest overall shift that I had, and the biggest thing that led to just kind of the most radical breakthroughs in my business, was when I stopped focusing on trying to find the one right source of traffic, or how to get, you know, 50-cent leads, 25-cent leads, etc. When I stopped trying to get free leads, and when I started focusing on the sales process that comes after the lead is generated, and actually focusing on consistent follow-up and email marketing, and hosting webinars to close sales, hosting webinars just to build a relationship with your audience. When my shift went from focusing on how to get more cheap traffic to how to actually monetize the traffic that I can get, if I'm spending, let's say, $2 a lead, how do I make every lead worth $2.50? When I started asking those types of questions, how do I create the positive ROI with the traffic that I know how to get? That's kind of how that's what led to everything turning around. Then it was learning those processes, learning the sales processes. I'll show some of you that in a little bit, but that's what really shifted everything for me. When I started focusing on the conversion mechanisms, when I started focusing on the conversion side of the business versus stressing out on how to get 15 cents, 20 cents, 25-cent leads, etc. Because you can't scale when you're trying to get really cheap leads, and then usually it just doesn't happen. So you end up spending so much time, so much effort, so much energy, and nothing really happens. So that was my big breakthrough, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that's huge. That is a massive breakthrough. That's the big difference that I see in, all the struggling marketers out there and the successful marketers. And it's what I like to compare the business opportunity seeker mindset and the professional marketer, the entrepreneur mindset. And I think that's the big difference. The business opportunity seekers are constantly searching for that quick fix, right? If I can just get more traffic, if I can just get cheap traffic, if I can just get 1 second clicks, and everything's going to be okay. And we know now, as experienced marketers, as professional marketers, that really the focus has to be first and foremost on conversions, and then you just add traffic. Is that really what you see in your business?
Exactly. If you can build a machine that unequivocally you can spend $2 in order to generate a lead, then you can go out and spend $1.50 to generate a lead and still make a profit. And you can do that all day and continue to scale. So I think also, even if you can learn how to get free traffic, and even if you can learn how to get cheap traffic, it's not nearly as leveraged as an activity. Because if you can figure out how to actually build a conversion mechanism and build sales funnels that convert better than anybody else's sales funnels, like your first company, MLSP, like some of the other companies out there right now that have proved that you can literally build these sales funnels and bring on affiliates, and you don't even need to worry about traffic at that point because you know how to convert better than anybody else in the industry. And so your traffic becomes a non-issue. So for me in my own business, when I shifted to focusing on conversions, building out the conversion mechanisms, and then just in general, I think it's a higher paid, more leveraged activity for you to learn and then implement in your business over time, because it allows you to scale to even the bigger levels after you hit, let's say, 6 figures like I have. If you want to hit 7 figures, if you want to hit 8 figures, the big guys in this space, they usually have a lot of affiliates promoting. The only reason the affiliates promote is because they know how to convert traffic, and they give them the systems in order to go ahead and convert traffic with. So
yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, you've done quite a lot of work with solo ads, and I want to talk about the couple of marketing strategies that you've really focused on and really mastered. Let's touch a little bit on solo ads, because I know that's been a big part of your business. It's funny, you started with that, with .com secrets, and you lost a lot of money, but now it's become actually a mainstay of your business. And I see a lot of marketers start with solo ads, but I would say 95% of people who spend money on solo ads never make a dime, and they quit before they ever are able to create any type of success with it. Could you share with us, and I know you've got a course on this, maybe we'll leave a link to that where people can access that, but maybe just share with us a few tips on how to make solo ads successful. What was the difference between you losing money in solo ads and then you finally making money in solo ads?
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the bigger reasons I didn't quit with solo ads is because one of my mentors, Dagan, he kind of always just harps on the fact that another medium of traffic, another form of traffic, it's not going to solve your problem. And it's usually that you're doing something wrong and there's not something actually wrong with the traffic medium that you're tapping into. So I kind of took that mindset instead of blaming the traffic source when solo ads weren't working for me. What I will say is that a lot of people treat solo ads unlike any other advertising medium. So you wouldn't go on Facebook and just throw a link up there and then pay Facebook to send traffic directly to that link with no image ad and no call to action and no text around your image, right? And a lot of people do that with solo ads. They go out to these various agencies and traffic brokers, and they literally just give them their link and they give them $2,000 and say, send traffic to this link however you can, and let's see what happens. So it's kind of more of a lottery mindset that they have, where if you want to make solo ads work, there's a very specific vendor selection process where you want to look for certain things with each vendor. There's a very specific way to write your swipe copy in order to create congruency between your email ad and your capture page in order to increase conversions. There's a very specific way that I like to scale. I actually don't like scaling too big unless I know the exact vendor. So I like to stay with smaller packages with a lot of different vendors, because usually where the money is at for the vendors is in the bigger packages. So if you can kind of more or less frame the purchase as a test purchase, you're looking to look at their list, responsiveness, etc., and stick with the smaller level solo ads, they'll usually send their best traffic in order to go ahead and incentivize you to end up scaling up and purchasing more clicks from them. So it really has to be just like any other traffic medium when you approach it and look at it as something that you're going to have to put some time, effort, and energy into. It's not a lottery. And if you treat it like a lottery, it's probably going to treat you like a lottery. You're not very often. So I think that's what most marketers do. And it's unfortunate because lots of people lose money with solo ads, and it leads to them kind of blaming the traffic source, where if you just focus on doing them effectively, it can be one of the more simple mediums in order to get traffic through. That's pretty responsive too, because you're also getting a lead in the environment that you'll then sell to the lead in the future. So you're getting a lead via the email inbox, which is big because in our game, email marketing, email follow-up is huge. So you know that lead is already actively in their email inbox, which is an advantage moving forward because you know that you'll be able to follow up and create constant interaction with that person. So
absolutely. Whereas, on Facebook, for instance, Facebook isn't an e-commerce platform. It's not a buying platform. It's a social media platform in comparison to, email marketing. Yeah, really, really powerful. Great. I'm glad that you shared that. It's a great perspective to have.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you mentioned with solo ads was your follow-up process. And I know in all marketing, again, we're talking about the conversion process. It's all about the process. You talk about, doing webinars as part of your follow-up. Do you create a lot of content? Do you have a YouTube channel? Do you create videos? Are you a blogger? How do you use content or webinars? What kind of content do you use for your follow-up? What does your follow-up process look like?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to break it down for you in the second part of this interview, and I'm going to take you into my Infusionsoft back office and kind of show you step by step. But I have an indoctrination series, which is more or less a story-based kind of, I see .com secrets on your bookshelf back there. It's the soap opera series in that book, where it more or less introduces your attractive character, introduces who you are, builds your bond with your audience, but then at the same time sells your products and services. So those are the first 5 emails, and those have like a best of little area where all my best blog posts, they can check those out. So I start building a relationship there. And then after the indoctrination series, they actually get pushed onto a Frank Kern style automated webinar campaign. So it's got 2 indoctrination videos for the webinar, and then that webinar sells Elite Marketing Pro annual. So everybody comes through the 5 emails and they get pushed onto an automated webinar campaign where I have a couple of indoctrination videos, automated webinar. If they attend the webinar, they get a certain follow-up series that goes ahead and stacks bonuses and includes scarcity in the follow-up series. And then if they don't attend the webinar, they go on a value series, Frank Kern value series, which ends up cutting to a 4-day cash machine, which sells my solo ad product for 50% off. So that's my initial little kind of follow-up sequence where
and that's all automated. That's an automated process.
Just a system at this point. So it builds a relationship, and then it closes sales via the webinar and the sale. And then from there, I try to create content in the form of videos 3 times a week at least, blog posts with the videos, so video blog posts. And I try to keep my email marketing pretty mixed up. So I'm not just going to send a video every single day. I'm not just going to send a written email every single day. I try to communicate through different mediums, podcast episodes, etc. Just try to kind of give my list, give all the various different people who make up my list kind of various mediums to go ahead and consume my content through, because everything's going to resonate with a different person on that list. You have the really analytical person who's going to really like reading the emails that break down the numbers and get really in depth on, exact sales process, etc. And then you have the visual learner who's going to really like going over to your blog and you breaking down a sales funnel you maybe have built out, and they'll learn through visual. So I try to connect with all the various people on my list in both different mediums, but then also kind of in a different kind of style of communication. So some people will really like being in their car and listening to your podcast episodes. I'm sure you have maybe recorded audio versions of this show included with video. So I just kind of try to get my prospects warmed up to who I am through every different medium. And then with webinars, I try to host a webinar every other week to my list at least. And that webinar is going to be really content heavy, kind of like a Frank Kern style webinar where I'm always trying to build the goodwill with my list. But then at the same time, I'm always going to be selling. And that's something else I always do in my emails, which some marketers don't do, I think, based on the whole attraction marketing kind of movement, that I think it really leaves a ton of money on the table. One of the people I've learned the most from when it comes to email marketing, just reverse engineering them, is a guy named Shakir Hussain. And he sells just really his email list. But he makes a lot of money with his email list, because once you create a buyer, that person's 10 times more likely to buy again. And so if you keep putting more and more offers in front of that email or that person, you're bound to make more sales. So I haven't gotten the guts to be quite as hardcore as Shaq yet with my selling in my emails, but I'm working my way up there. I sell pretty consistently in my emails, but then at the same time, I always get positive feedback from my readers, how they enjoy reading them. So there's no real negative. As long as you're including content, you're entertaining, and you're just kind of making it a fun experience for that person to read your emails, you can sell all you want. That's what I found, at least.
And that's exactly what, Shakir, as an example, that's what he does so well. His his personality is out there, really big personality, really happy guy. And you can read that through his emails. And so you kind of, when you open up his emails, you kind of feel that energy in the emails. So when he's selling you don't feel offended by it. Yeah, it's great. It's interesting that you bring that up. And it's really interesting that you bring that up as a comparison to the attraction marketing movement. And, I think that was a big kind of oversight that a lot of people that got involved in this whole attraction marketing movement and the whole concept of providing value and providing free value. I think a lot of people took that too far and forgot to sell, and we've seen that just so much. And I think it's really important what you said there, that you are focused on the sale, that you're not afraid to sell. As long as you're providing value, then by all means, get to the sale. I mean, that's what we're here for, right? We are running a business in the end. I think that's really, really important distinction.
One of the big things too is that one of my mentors, Dagan, again, he says, entertain above all else. In your emails, you always want to be entertaining above all else. And like you talked about Shaq, and you look at the average American spends 6 hours a day watching TV. So you can just be that 20-minute email read or that 10-minute email read, etc. If they get an immense level of entertainment out of your emails, you don't necessarily always need to be teaching how to and, having question and answers and getting really in-depth in content. As long as you can kind of bring them out of their reality for a couple minutes, you provide immense value just in that experience, because that's ideally what they're looking for based on the fact that they're watching 6 hours a day on TV. Most people aren't happy with their current circumstances. And so if you can be that person who just kind of makes it a fun experience for them to connect to on a daily basis, you can sell all you want and they'll still keep tuning in. So
huge. Yeah. Really, really powerful. All right. Let's shift gears a little bit here. I want to touch on another marketing strategy that's been really effective for you. We talked about this in the phone call that we had together. And I'd just like you to kind of share a little bit about it. You use CPA marketing to build your list and grow your audience. Can you touch on really quickly kind of the benefits of that, who it might be for, and how, what the potential is with using that? Because I don't see a lot of marketers in our niche specifically taking advantage of it. So I was really fascinated to learn about this from you.
Yeah, so with CPA, there's all these various networks. There's ClickBank. ClickBank isn't really a CPA network, but it's a network where you can put offers in. ClickSure is a CPA network. The Cash Network is a CPA network. ClickPromise is a CPA network. And you can go out to these networks and give them your capture page and tell them that for every lead they send through your capture page, you'll pay $1.50 per lead, right? So it's performance-based media, and you more or less only pay when you get that desired outcome. So with a solo ad, you're going to pay $500 or $200 for 500 clicks, let's say, right? And whether you convert those clicks into leads or not, you're still going to pay the $200. With CPA and the performance-based medium, you're going to be tapping into other people's lists, because I go ahead and I tell the CPA network that I only want email traffic. So it's more or less newsletter marketing in the sense that very similar to solo ads. They might not only be sending my ad in that email, but it's going to be newsletter traffic regardless. And then I only pay when someone hits my capture page and opts in. And how you do it is you put a little pixel on the thank you page. So once they hit the thank you page, the pixel fires and that person who sent you traffic gets credited in the CPA network. And why it works so well is because so many people build their lists, but then they don't necessarily know how to monetize their lists very well, or various solo ad vendors don't have enough orders for solo ads. So they have these lists and they're looking to monetize their lists, and you have an offer and you want to go ahead and generate leads, right? So it's a win-win in the sense that they get to monetize their list and you get to build your list using their email traffic. not risk-free, but as long as you know your numbers like we talked about earlier, and as long as you have the solid conversion mechanism in place, you can more or less automate your traffic generation process in the sense that once you have it set up, the traffic continues to flow. All you have to do is really kind of monitor the quality of traffic, monitor the various sub-IDs. That's kind of getting into a little bit more detail than we'll probably have time to discuss here. Just like any other traffic medium, you have to look at various conversion metrics and look at what's working and what's not, and eliminate the ones that aren't working and then scale the ones that are working. So it's really nice because you don't need to spend all day setting up ads. You don't need to spend all day connecting with vendors with a solo ad. You don't need to spend all day sorting through, URLs if you're using PPV, etc. You do more or less have automated traffic, but then you just need to keep a really kind of close watch on how the traffic is performing, who's performing best, which ones to cut, which ones to scale, etc. So it's really good for those people who understand that traffic isn't necessarily the answer and that the conversion mechanism is the answer. And once you get the conversion mechanism set up, you can get a lot of traffic in a very automated fashion with CPA networks, which I like because it gives me more time to focus on hosting webinars and writing emails and creating content and building a relationship with my audience. So that's really the big thing I use. It's the 80-20 rule, and traffic generation will always be part of the 20%, but then if you really micro down and get into the 20% of the 20%, follow up, conversion mechanisms, creating offers, hosting webinars, etc. That's like the very high leverage activities. And if you can automate your traffic, that's really kind of what you want to be doing. And that's what I've managed to do with CPA Network. So that's why I like it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you're talking about, well, hold on. The potential for the lead flow is pretty much unlimited as well. We're talking about hundreds of leads a day. You've got your lead cost set, so your lead cost isn't fluctuating, so you can really do your numbers on that. I'm thinking this would be a really good strategy for someone that's already had some success with solo ads. Mm-hmm. To if they wanted to expand or scale their traffic, this would be a perfect avenue to go down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, literally the number of leads you can get with CPA networks are almost unlimited. I mean, I have my offer in only actively in one network right now, and I've generated up to 500 leads a day with that network. And there's 6 other networks that I can go ahead and tap into, or I can increase the payout per lead. So if I want to pay 25 cents extra per lead, the publishers will be more incentivized to send to my offer. So if you can figure out the conversion mechanism, if you can figure out how to create a higher ROI for every lead you generate, you can tap into so many leads with CPA networks in a very automated, kind of headache-free fashion. So that is powerful. That is powerful. Now, for those of you that are listening right now and your ears are perking up and you're getting a little bit excited, just know that Misha is going to be putting together a course. Why don't you talk a little bit about this course that you're working on? I know it's still a few weeks away, so we're going to kind of tease people with it. But I'm really interested in what you're putting together. So just share with us a little bit of what you're working on. Yeah. So my first really year of breaking through in my business, I managed to get to 6 figures with only affiliate marketing. So I've created my own course and I'm focusing on selling my own course predominantly now. Actually, I still have more commissions coming through affiliate marketing because I have so much momentum built up there.
Yeah.
But I realized that I kind of built a scenario that a lot of people really want, because I don't think most people want to create their own offers. I don't think most people want to, have their own merchant accounts and do all the complicated stuff that it takes in order to kind of go down that avenue. So I'm more or less putting together a boot camp that'll show people how I did my affiliate marketing and the big really kind of shifts like I talked about on this interview, what I started to focus on that led to breakthroughs, how I selected profitable offers, how I drove traffic to those offers, how I followed up, etc. So it's going to be a 3-week boot camp, and it's going to break down sales funnels, what to look for in sales funnels, how to drive traffic to those sales funnels, how to follow up with your leads, how to build a relationship with your leads, how to close sales with affiliate marketing. And then it'll also give them the option, if they want to go ahead and promote my stuff as an affiliate, and have me do most of the work for them. So if they want me to take care of the email follow-up and the webinars and the various forms of just kind of selling, because I know a lot of people don't like selling. I personally have always liked selling. So it's one of those things that I look forward to my weekly webinar where I get to kind of try to close some people because it gives me a little bit of a high. But yeah, the course is going to be how I went ahead and built my 6-figure business with just affiliate marketing. And then after that, if they want to promote my stuff, I'll go ahead and I'll take care of the email follow-up and all the selling. So that's more or less the offer. And I don't want to get into too much detail, but I'll be launching it here in the first quarter of 2016. So I'm excited. And
awesome. That is exciting. And like you said, yeah, most people don't want to have to create their own offers. And honestly, if you're just getting started online, you really shouldn't be. I think you've got to understand, you've got to learn, the fundamentals of conversion, of sales funnels. You've got to learn good follow-up technique, good follow-up strategy, and just learn what it's all about. Start driving traffic to affiliate offers, just like you said. I mean, that's where all of us got our start, is just promoting affiliate offers before we went out and we created our own. And I definitely think that is, that is definitely where you need to focus. So cool. I'm very excited to see you come out with that course, and to see what you're putting together for everybody. All right. So we're getting close to the end of this interview. We want to wrap it up here. Misha, this has been amazing value. You've just delivered some really good, specific, actionable strategies and tips for people to apply in their business. And I love what you said there about 80-20. Sorry, I'm just going back for 1 second here. I love what you said there about 80-20 and how traffic is like 20% and then the 20 of the 20. It's interesting because so many marketers that I've seen, they're completely opposite. 80% of their energy is focused on solving the traffic issue, and they're not doing the important money-making things. So, Misha, if we're going to leave everybody here that's listening, that's watching this video, I would love for you to leave with us 3 key tips, 3 key things that you need to focus on, 3 key tips that you want to leave everybody with so that they can ensure that they create a breakthrough this year in 2016. What are those 3 things?
Yeah, so I would say focus really intensely on learning how to email market, and learning how to not only email market in the sense that you're just sending out broadcasts and creating autoresponders, but really kind of focus on building the persona of who you are to your audience, your attractive character, what you stand for, what you stand against. Learn how to influence your audience with email, and you can influence your audience through videos, sending them to videos with email, but just learn influence in general and really focus, I would say, on the attractive character. I don't know if you've studied much of the attractive character. I've studied it through Dagan and John Alanis, and it's one of those things that it'll create a lot of polarization in your list. It'll create a lot of responsiveness in your list. You'll piss some people off, but some people really love what you have to say. And so that would be the first thing. Focus on attractive character, build your persona, who you are to the marketplace, who you are to your list, and then get really good at just daily emails to your list in order to create trust and then also sell all the time. Secondly, I'd say focus on learning how to close over webinars. So one of the big things is, once you have an email list and once you're going ahead and building a list and you have this database of people to tap into, the different contexts which you sell through. So if you're selling one-on-one, it's going to be the most responsive. If you're selling from stage, it's going to be second most responsive. If you're selling over a webinar, it's going to be third most responsive, right? If you're selling over a video sales letter, it's going to be a little bit less responsive. If you're selling through just an email, it's going to be even less responsive, right? So while you absolutely should learn to sell through email, and you should be always putting offers in front of your list via email, learning how to host webinars is kind of, I think, the bridge to kind of get yourself on stage and get yourself in front of those audiences where you can then connect in even a more personal manner. So learn how to sell over webinars. And also, what's good about webinars is, whether you sell or not over the webinar, it'll actually create more goodwill and more positioning with your list, because no one hosts webinars, or not many people host webinars. Usually just the top earners host webinars. Exactly. So if you're doing it very consistently with your list, they'll kind of look up to you in an authority manner a lot more, and you'll be closing more sales, and they're pretty fun once you get good at them. So I'd say that for sure. And I'd recommend checking out Frank Kern's Ultimate Webinar Blueprint, or Ultimate Blueprint Webinar, one of those two, and Russell Brunson's The Perfect Webinar Secrets. Those are both really good. My webinars are kind of a combo of the two. I kind of follow the format through which the content is broken down with Russell's, but then kind of the format through which you sell with Frank's. So those are the two I'd say to focus on learning through. And then thirdly, What's really big for me is learning how to actually create offers. So instead of creating a product, which is huge, I mean, creating a product is big, but most people don't understand the difference between a product and an offer. And I didn't for a long time either. So once I learned how to create an offer where you put together the core modules of whatever you're selling, and then you put together some irresistible bonuses, and you tie in scarcity around your bonuses, and then you create a money back guarantee, or maybe a better than money back guarantee. So you tell them, go through the content, apply what you learn. If you don't like what you've gone ahead and learned, I'll refund your money, let you keep the course, and send you $100 for wasting your time. But you got to sign up right now within the next 4 days, or you won't receive any of these bonuses, etc. That's how you kind of set up an offer, an irresistible offer. So those would be really the three most important key skill sets I'd tell people to focus on. And I think you talked about the 80-20 rule. Those, in my opinion, are like the highest level leverage 20% of the 20% of activities that you can focus on. And I mean, even just my consult funnel, we'll go over my consult funnel in a minute, but I use risk reversal, like I just talked about, in the sense that if they don't get value out of the consult, I'll send them $100 just for wasting their time. So just learning how to put together an offer, you don't even always need to create a product in order to use an offer. You can create an offer and just have it be for your consult, and then close people into an affiliate program with your consult. So focus on learning how to create offers, focus on learning how to host webinars and close over webinars, and then email marketing, and in general, just attractive character, because your attractive character will translate over into your webinars and into your various offers, etc. So those are the three things I'd say to focus on most, for sure.
Awesome. If you're looking to break through in 2016, that's it. I can't agree. I can't say that any better. Those three tips are huge. They're definitely going to create results in your business if you specifically apply them. And honestly, like I say in all of my videos, take one or two things here from this interview and just apply it in your business. And if you do that every single week with these incredible marketers that we've got here every single week, just take one thing and apply it into your business. You're going to start to see incredible results in 2016. Misha, this was amazing. Really great interview. Amazing content. I love chatting with you, and I love learning from you as well. You're an exciting, young marketer, and I'm really excited to see what you're going to come up with over the next year and over the years to come. I know you're really passionate about what you do and passionate about helping others achieve success and create freedom in their lives. So I want to thank you on behalf of all the listeners and viewers here. I want to thank you for giving your time and your wisdom with us today. It was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much.
Of course, Norbert, thank you so much, man. I don't think you realize